All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here. We are missing, nope, we're full house. So before we begin, if you're attending this meeting in person and need a Spanish interpreter, we do have 2 available here today. So please raise your hand or inform one of our staff members and they will come over to assist you.
Good afternoon. I'm going to make an announcement in Spanish. Para aquellas personas que están asistiendo en persona en esta reunión y desearan escuchar la interpretación simultánea al español, favor de levantar la mano para que nosotros les podamos hablar sus auriculares. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay.
The county.
All right, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Friday, May 30th, 2025. It is exactly 3:06 p.m. and we are calling to order the inaugural meeting of the Governance Reform Task Force. Thank you all for being here today and welcome to the inaugural meeting of the Governance Reform Task Force. My name is Shadi Cardan and I have the honor of serving as the interim director of the Governance Reform Task Force during this very important chapter. Your presence here today signifies as more than just the beginning of our work. It represents a pivotal moment in Los Angeles County's history because today we take the first steps towards meaningful change. And I am grateful to be sharing this milestone with you. The Governance Reform Task Force, commonly known as the GRTF, was established to oversee the implementation of Measure G, a charter amendment approved by Los Angeles County voters in November 2024. Measure G introduces significant reforms designed to improve transparency, accountability, and representation within the county's governance structure. The GRTF's primary role is to guide and support the transition to this new framework, ensuring that the goals of this amendment are achieved. Public participation in these meetings is an essential part of this process. We welcome your comments in person, online, and in writing. There will be an opportunity for you to provide public comment on each agenda item today and at the end of the meeting during general public comment. This meeting is conducted in accordance with Ralph M. Brown Act and is governed by the procedures outlined in Robert's Rules of Order. For each agenda item, I will introduce the item and presentations will be heard. The task force members will have an opportunity to discuss the items and then public comment will be taken. If you are present here in person today and you would like to make public comment, please complete the speaking card. It looks like this. I have one here. And indicate which item number you would like to speak on, and we will call on you at the appropriate time. For those of you who are joining us online or over the telephone, you may use your raise your hand feature on your computer or press *9 on your phone. We will call on you by your name in the order received or by the last 4 digits of your phone number as it appears on the screen. Staff will unmute you and you may need to press *6 on your phone to be able to speak or follow the instructions you hear. I will now ask Jason Chan to conduct roll call to confirm a quorum.
All right, members of the task force, when I call your name, please respond with present. Ryan Calderon Tabatabai.
Present.
Derek Steele.
Present.
Sarah Sadwani.
Present.
Marcel Grinardi.
Present.
John Fasana.
Present.
David Green.
Present.
Derek Shea.
Present.
Steve Neal.
Present.
Gabriela Garones.
Present.
Julia Mockridge.
Present.
David Phelps.
Present.
Rosa Soto.
Present.
Nancy Yap.
Present.
Thank you. The record will show that 13 members are present and 0 are absent, with 13 members present and 13 seats total on the task force. Director Cardan, we do have a quorum. Also, County Council Noro Zarabian is also present.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jason. To respect the land we occupy today and the community from which it was taken, we will now play the land acknowledgement.
The County of Los Angeles recognizes that we occupy land originally and still inhabited and cared for by the Tongva, Tataviam, Serrano, Quiche, and Chumash peoples. We honor and pay respect to their elders and descendants, past, present, and emerging, as they continue their stewardship of these lands and waters. We acknowledge that settler colonization resulted in land seizure, disease, subjugation, slavery, relocation, broken promises, genocide, and multi-generational trauma. This acknowledgement demonstrates our responsibility and commitment to truth, healing, and reconciliation, and elevating the stories, culture, and community of the original inhabitants of Los Angeles County. We are grateful to have the opportunity to live and work on these ancestral lands. We are dedicated to growing and sustaining relationships with Native peoples and local tribal governments, including, in no particular order, Fernandinho Tataviam Band of Mission Indians, Gabrielino Tongva Indians of California Tribal Council, Gabrielino Tongva San Gabriel Band of Mission Indians, Gabrielino Band of Mission Indians Quiche Nation, San Manuel Band of Mission Indians, San Fernando Band of Mission Indians. To learn more about the First Peoples of Los Angeles County, please visit the Los Angeles City, County, Native American Indian Commission website at lanaic.lacounty.gov.
Thank you so much. At this time, I would like to invite our Executive Officer, Edward Yen, to give his opening remarks and introduce Supervisor Horvath and the other supervisors.
Thank you. Does this work?
Yes.
So welcome everyone to the inaugural meeting of the Governance Reform Task Force. And thank you all for being here and stepping into this important role as we move forward with your insight to help us guide this task force on the structure and function of governance in Los Angeles County. So as the largest county in the nation, home to more than 10 million residents across 88 cities and many unincorporated communities, Los Angeles continues to evolve. In recent years, this board is committed to modernize and strengthen the systems that support how the county serves its people. This task force is part of the broader effort, and your work will help lay the foundation for what comes next. To get us started today, I'm honored to welcome Supervisor Lindsay P. Horvath, who represents the 3rd Supervisorial District, to offer a few remarks. Following Supervisor Horvath, we'll hear video messages from Supervisor Hilda L. Solis of the 1st District and Supervisor Holly J. Mitchell of the 2nd District. And then we also have Esther Lim representing Supervisor Han from the 4th District, who will be here with a few words. And we thank Supervisor Barger with her engagement in this process. Thank you again for your time, your perspective, and your commitment. I look forward to engaging with you the next coming, period of time. 3 years?
At a minimum.
At a minimum.
At a minimum. At a minimum.
A lot of work. Lots of work. Thank you. Now Supervisor Horvath.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I couldn't be more excited to be here, and thank you all for joining us for this truly historic moment. I want to start by congratulating each of our task force members on being appointed, and not only for the work that you have done, but also the people that you care to represent, to connect with and reach out to, and make sure that their voices are considered, reflected, and heard in the conversations that we will have to truly transform how our governance structure in Los Angeles County must work in order to meet today's needs. I look around the room and I think about the last time that the charter was discussed in a forum, maybe like this, back in 1912. Most of us wouldn't have been at this table. Some of us wouldn't have even had the right to vote. And so to think about where we are in this moment, to be what I like to call the 21st century founding fathers and now founding leaders of Los Angeles County, I am really excited to hear what your thoughts and perspectives will be, to hear how you steward conversation throughout our region to ensure that our governance structure reflects the needs, the opportunities, and most importantly, the ways we can best be of service throughout our region. LA County has long been governed under a system that I believe no longer reflects the realities that we face today. And I think it's not just my belief. I want to thank the voters of Los Angeles County who decided that this reform was necessary and made it happen, because all of us want to see change in how we do this work. And how is really the question, and that is what you all will steward. How do we do this work better in order to serve the needs of all of the residents of Los Angeles County? As you know, Measure G is now codified into our charter. It has several components, a new elected county executive. It expands the Board of Supervisors. It establishes an independent ethics commission. And it does all of this with critical reforms because the people of LA County demanded them at the ballot. Measure G has been about building government that is more accountable, transparent, representative, and responsive to the people it serves, especially those who have been historically overlooked or intentionally excluded. This is an opportunity for inclusion, to hear more from our constituents that we all represent, and all of the people that we desire to serve. It is an understatement to say that your task is significant. The recommendations you develop will shape how Los Angeles County brings to life not only the reforms that are reflected and intended through Measure G, but the opportunity for change that will come from ideas from all of the people that we collectively represent together. And we have the opportunity to continue to hear how we can evolve as a county through the work of the Charter Reform Commission that will be established. But this really opens up how we do the work of the county in a way that's never been done before. And our success is contingent upon how well we do that together. So I'm here to say thank you. I am here to offer my support to the best of my ability to make sure that you have whatever it is you need to succeed in your roles at this table. Our success, your success is all of Los Angeles County's success. And so our success requires that you have everything that you need to do this job to the best of your ability. I encourage you to listen deeply, to question boldly, to stay grounded in the values that brought us here. That is the greatest of your charges. Thank you once again for stepping up in this moment to bring transformation to Los Angeles County, and for all of the work that you do each and every day outside of this room that will be reflected in the work that you do in this room. As I said, I'm here to support you every step of the way. I'm gonna get off this dais because this isn't my body, this is yours. And I really appreciate that you all are doing this work. Thank you and best of luck in your work ahead.
So next we'll have videos by Supervisor Solis and Supervisor Mitchell.
Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. I'm Hilda L. Solis, Chair Pro Tem of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, representing proudly the 1st District. And I want to congratulate and thank you for volunteering and being selected to serve on this incredibly important body, the Governance Reform Task Force, or GRTF. As you all know, last November, the voters approved Measure G to bring about significant reforms to the county governance. And pursuant to Measure G, the board established a 13-person GRTF to oversee implementation of the charter amendment. I want to take a moment to recognize and commend the work of the 5 board-appointed members in selecting the final 5 at-large members of the task force. And I especially want to recognize the hard work of my appointee, Brian Calderon Tabatabay. Like many of our appointees, Brian has already put in significant hours to advance this voter-approved initiative. And I want to thank him for juggling his commitments as a teacher, as a family member, and as an appointee to this important commission. And with the final 5 appointments confirmed this week, I'm quite happy to see a diversity of backgrounds and perspectives represented on this important body. From residents from unincorporated areas like Rosa Soto and Julia Mockeridge to leaders of AAPI communities like Nancy Yap, I eagerly anticipate the recommendations that this important task force will put forward. And I'm grateful to our partners in labor, including SEIU 721, CCU, and LA Fed for their participation and invaluable insights on the task force. The work of the 13 of all of you will help to bring about monumental and lasting change to a government that serves 10 million residents. To say that your work on the GRTF is historic would be an understatement. We have heard loud and clear from county residents that they want to see more representation, more transparency, and more accountability across all levels of government, including the County of Los Angeles. And your work is a part of that body and will help make that desire a reality. It is my hope that everyone here will move forward in the spirit of collaboration, participation, and mutual respect to bring about the important changes that our county residents deserve and expect from all of us. Once again, thank you to each and every one of you, and congratulations on being a part of this historic task force.
Hello. Let me start by thanking each of you for your willingness to take on the monumental task of serving on the inaugural Governance Reform Task Force. As residents of LA County, I know you have lives and work lives and family lives, and taking on this important task is really going to be very likely a great time commitment, so I just want to start by thanking you. You know, the recommendations that you all will develop in the months and perhaps years ahead will determine precisely how the sweeping measures proposed by Measure G will actually improve our ability to meet the needs of LA County's 10 million plus residents. This new county government governance structure should not, and in my opinion, cannot be pushed through by narrow, divisive margins. The effectiveness and the legitimacy of the reforms you recommend and we collectively make depend on your recommendations having buy-in from folks not only on this task force, but as well as a broad and diverse cross-section of stakeholders with lived experiences. Reflecting that broad consensus will take dedication and patience and thoughtfulness. I trust in your willingness and your ability to help foster an open, accessible process with intentional outreach to all voices across the county. That means meeting people where they are and making sure you're hearing from the most impacted by county government, because that's what you're helping to reshape, especially those communities that have historically been underserved or ignored, are unincorporated communities that only have the county for their local government, and those that depend on the county's safety net services. They are the ones counting on you and I, the absolute most, to ensure that change results in more transparent, more accountable, and more effective governance and a better quality of life for all of us. Thank you again for your willingness to serve, and I wish you all the best.
Next, we'll have Esther Lim.
Thank you, Eddie. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Esther Lim. I'm the Health and Environmental Justice Deputy for Supervisor Han, who represents the 4th District. Unfortunately, Supervisor Han wasn't able to attend. However, she would like to express her gratitude to the members of the county's newest government reform task force. These 13 appointed members before us, representing a diverse swath of our communities and industries, will be undertaking this historic responsibility to thoughtfully advise and make recommendations on how we govern in LA County. Supervisor Han not only supported Measure G, but was a co-author alongside Supervisor Horvath of the motion that put Measure G on the ballot for LA County voters. She has long supported expanding the board to make LA County government more democratic, more representative, and more effective. The installation of the GRTF is a real opportunity to modernize governance and enhance accountability so the board can better serve the over 10 million constituents who work and live in LA County. Supervisor Han would like to especially thank her appointee, Marcel Rodarte, the Executive Director of the California Contract Cities Association, as well as a former member of Team Han, at-large member Julia Mockridge, for their willingness to carve out time out of their lives to serve LA County in this way. There will be a lot of eyes, curiosity, and interest in the work of the GRTF. Good luck to you all, and thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We are now going to do a little chair game. We're going to follow everybody around because I know it's a little crowded down here. So before we continue to the next item, I am going to say goodbye to my bosses. No, just kidding. And invite the appointed GRTF members to come up. If you don't mind, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Labor and County Council can move over so we're not all squished.
Right.
I'm going to keep you on your feet. I know. Just one.
All right, great.
Parliamentarian. All right. All right, you guys have rings for you now?
Yeah,
They look
good.
good. That's pushing everybody in there.
I just want to kick it off by saying, yikes. This is big. This is really big.
All right, is that a little better, everyone? I just felt like everybody was crammed in and I felt more awful, but okay, well, we're going to move on and I am going to first, just for the record, thank all the supervisors for their kind words and thoughtful remarks. I want to say that their encouraging message, I'm sure, was heard by all of the task force members, and I'm certain that you feel more energized and inspired to start the work as a result of their words. So thank you. I'm now going to move on, and I'm going to have each of the task force members introduce themselves to you, starting kind of in a circle, going all the way around. I think it will probably be the easiest way to do it. I'm going to have them state their name, give you a brief summary of who they are and what their background is, whether they were appointed or at large or what labor they represent. So you can get to know them a little bit more. And just so you know, I got to know them a little bit myself in this last month, actually pretty well, especially the 5 sitting next to me right now. So I'm going to start it off with Brian. Go ahead.
Thank you, Shadi. Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Calderon Tabatabai. I am the appointee of District 1 Supervisor Hilda L. Solis. It is an honor to be up here with the other four who I've gotten to know really well, the 5 that we got to meet and speak with, and today we met our 3 labor appointees. I'm an ethnic studies teacher. I'm former mayor of West Covina. I'm a dad, and, you know, I was listening to Supervisor Horvath. This week, our lesson in ethnic studies was the East LA interchange. And when I reflect on the building of the freeways and the building of that mammoth structure that destroyed my family's neighborhood. They're from Boyle Heights, East LA. It reminds me how important our work is to make sure that all residents are not only represented, but that the government responds to them in a timely manner. And that way, no group of people have to carry the burden of the county. And so I look forward to this work. It's important work. And I'm just honored to be up here. Thank you.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Derek Steele. I am the executive director of the Social Justice Learning Institute. I'm a resident of Inglewood, California, and I have been appointed by Supervisor Holly Mitchell as the District 2 task force member for the Governance Reform Task Force. I don't want to speak long. I think I'm honored on the opportunity to even be here and to share space with my colleagues, many of us who are representing so many different walks of life for so many different people, trying to make sure that there's place and space for so many. I want to be clear in stating that the thing that has sat with me all the way up until today, and it still sits with me today, is the amount of voices who are not a part of this process and the representation that is not here in this space, and the responsibility that we have to hold a process that creates space and opportunity for many of them to be able to participate. I'm glad to see familiar faces. What's up, Rosie? And I think in other spaces that we've been able to lead in, being able to utilize some of those tools for something with this much gravity for what the future holds, to have over 100 years of time go by and reform not take place, and then have the responsibility to bring it forth is nothing to sneeze at, man. And so we take it very seriously. I'm grateful for the colleagues that I've been able to work with over the last month or so or more. Shadi, for being open and like focused and whipping this whole thing into shape to get us ready. We got a lot ahead of us to achieve, but I'm very much aware that we will be able to rise to the occasion and meet the moments. Because we're working amongst people who really care about what's going on. So thankful for the moment and the time that we're in.
Thank you. My name is Sarah Sadwani. I'm a professor of political science at Pomona College. Most of my research studies voting and elections, particularly the voting behavior of communities of color, communities that have for far too long and too often been left out of the conversation, and who have faced discrimination at the ballot box. I come to this work having also served on the California Citizens Redistricting Commission this last round, in which a body of 14 of us, Democrats, Republicans, and independents, came together, not unlike this in some ways, and was able to develop a set of maps under incredibly difficult circumstances of COVID, and develop a set of maps that expanded opportunities for Latinos, for Asian Americans, and maintaining opportunities for representation for the African American community. And so it's not lost on me that when we think about voting and voting rights, that here at the county level, it was only through a Voting Rights Act litigation in the 1980s that a Latino was ever able to win an election to be represented on the Board of Supervisors. And to this day, Asian Americans have never had a voice on the Board of Supervisors. And I think Measure G holds the opportunity to bring about many of those changes. And I share Derek and Brian's real concerns to ensure that the voices of Angelenos from across the county, from the Antelope Valley to Long Beach, are heard on this committee as we move this work forward. And I look forward to working with all of you. I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun. There might be some contentious moments, but I have no doubt that with the folks that have been assembled, that we will make our way through with honor and respect and dignity, something that is often, especially when we're looking at federal politics, is often missing today. So I think in many ways we can be the standard bearer for how to govern.
Good afternoon, everyone. Friday afternoon in downtown LA is pretty awesome. We had to meet by the end of the month, so here we are. Hoping that they're not all on Fridays, but my name is Marcel Rodardi. I was appointed by Supervisor Janice Hahn in the 4th District. Born and raised in the 4th District. I grew up in the city of Norwalk, formerly served on the city council there. It was an honor and a privilege to represent my hometown as mayor. I served in the military for 21 years, retired in 2011. Now I am the executive director for an association called the California Contract Cities Association. We actually do a lot of advocacy with the county on policies that directly impact cities. So I'm looking forward to this work and to making sure that local governments are represented in the new county government, whatever structure that may be that we choose amongst our 13 folks. I was also a member of the Blue Ribbon Commission on Homelessness previously. Those were all Zoom meetings, so this is gonna be a little different, but a lot of time. So I know what that takes to put a lot of time into something that's incredibly important. And I'm also very, very glad to see that the Board of Supervisors has adopted almost all of the recommendations that came out of the Blue Ribbon Commission on Homelessness. We are a recommending body. We are not a policy-making body, but the supervisors do take these types of commissions task force seriously. So I'm looking forward to seeing the county being reshaped and being some small part of that. I made a note, Shadi, for Lindsay said, the Supervisor Horvath said that you will have all the resources you need.
Yeah.
We will have all the because those resources are a little slight right now. But I want to make sure that, you know, given the monumental task that's ahead of us, that you do have all the resources that you need. So I will continue to lobby for those resources, not only for you, but for all of us to make sure that we do this work correctly. Outside of that, I am the proud dad of a 19-year-old daughter who is incredibly amazing, and I won't say happy, but I'm okay with sacrificing a little bit of time away from her to do this work. It's incredibly important. I look forward to working with all 12 other of my colleagues.
For sure.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm John Fasano. I'm an appointee of Supervisor Catherine Barger to the GRTF. And my background, I worked at Southern California Edison for 35 years in the regulatory area on energy efficiency predominantly. And the income qualified programs such as the care rate and the energy efficiency program for low-income customers. So working on that on the regulatory side. I also served on the Duarte City Council for 35 years. From among the council, we select the mayor. I was selected several times and the city's still around. So I didn't destroy it. So that's a positive thing. I served on the Metro Board for 27 years, representing the San Gabriel Valley. And I will say that guides some of my thoughts coming into this. I will say I took the Metro in today. I took the train through Irwindale and came in. So it was a little warm walking over from the 2nd Street station there. I will say that, you know, when we talk about inequities, even today on the LA Metro Board, there are 13 members. There has never been a single board member from a single year representing or living, I should say, in a county unincorporated area. So I think that's something to be focused on. That's an inequity that's still there. If you're in an unincorporated community, you have the representation from your supervisors. If you're in a city, you also have city representation. I only bring this up because actually after Measure G passed, there was some legislation that actually could have made some of these things worse based on how the new chief executive officer would make the appointments. So I think it's really important that as we look the election of a CEO, and I'm going to disclose, I actually voted against G predominantly because of the elected CEO. I like the expanded board. But if we're going to have an elected CEO, I think there are some really important discussions. I think it might behoove us to have those sooner, pre-2026, and certainly before we start having campaigns in 2028, to determine what will the appointing authority be. I know there's members of countywide commissions here today that are appointed by the supervisors. Will that continue to be the case? Will they be appointed by the elected CEO? And the same in terms of the Metro Board, how would that occur? Because that leaves some members in certain unincorporated areas without any direct representation on the Metro Board, which collects a 2% on every sales tax dollar that's generated for vitally necessary and essential transportation improvements. We know that the county is facing a tremendous budget shortfall. We know that there's a disinvestment that seems to be happening at the federal level from some of the programs that we think have been very important in Los Angeles County. So as we try and balance all our resources, figuring out how the nuts and bolts of all this work is going to be a very significant interest to me. Not only the voices, but also even understanding. I lived in a city. I didn't live in an unincorporated area. Now we have adjoining communities that are unincorporated. We coordinated with them. We have some understanding how the county provides service. And I'll just say as a plug, I mean, our unified school district covered the county unincorporated as well as our city. And the city tried to offer commonality of programs and services for youth, whether you're in the city or the county unincorporated. But looking at how the county serves the unincorporated versus the rest of our communities, I think for us to get a solid understanding of that will be very important foundationally in the early stages of this, because it is different for the 10% of the population that lives in the unincorporated communities. I said enough, I'll stop right there. I've taken all your time. I guess it's time to adjourn, right? Thank you. Look forward to working with you.
Nancy? I was like, we're going around. Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy Yap, and I'm an at-large member. I'm Executive Director of CAUSE, the Center for Asian Americans United for Self-Empowerment. I come to this with the lens of really wanting our community's voices to be heard, wanting that engagement that we're looking for, and not expecting any of us to have all the answers, but being open to asking, listening, and finding them. And so appreciative of this board. I come also with some experience in small business, experience in leadership, facilitation, development in multiple sectors. And what I've learned is so much of the work is really about us wanting to get to the goal together. So just really appreciative of being here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Rosa Soto. I am Executive Director of the Los Angeles General Medical Center Foundation. We're the nonprofit partner to our major trauma center on the east side. And I'm an at-large member. I live in unincorporated North Whittier. And thank you for all the work you just did to give insight as to what it's like to live in an incorporated, how important representation and understanding is to this work. It is not lost on me the diversity that sits right now on at this table, and I'm just so grateful and in awe of the incredible work in such a small amount of time. So thank you, Shadi. Thank you to the Board of Supervisors and everyone who's making this possible. For me, I have the privilege of sitting on commissions with Derek and others that are really fighting to ensure that community voice is at the center of how funding is looked at, how we are able to address the needs that are so insidious in our communities and things that we really want to transform, coming into this next century opportunity. And having sat in those spaces, I'm learning that it takes a lot of patience and understanding, but it takes a lot of leadership and bold work. And I'm excited about doing that work in this body. I'm excited to do this work with all of you. And, and the opportunity that we have as a full community of LA County to design, a next phase of our future that is something to be proud of, that is something to be uplifted, right? Especially when we're looking at how equity is important and how our government right now is being shaken by a lot of different schools of thought that are being very polarized. So thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to our next steps.
Good afternoon. My name is David Phelps. I'm a proud resident of the city of Los Angeles from its San Fernando Valley region as a part of the city, and a proud planning commissioner representing the North San Fernando Valley. I am, I believe, the only business owner on this body. I have my own public affairs firm, but I'm also the co-owner of a small comic books and collectibles business in Chatsworth, California. So I'm a little bit of a fanboy as well. And I hope to bring a little bit of that fun and naivety to this body as we tackle some very serious issues. I do want to take a moment to thank the 5 members of the task force that put forth our names. I know it was an honor to be appointed, as all of you were, by individual supervisors, but to be appointed by a group of my peers to serve on this body, I think is of equal honor and importance. So thank you for putting that trust in us. I feel the weight and the gravity of this moment. I do not take this lightly. This is something that I really wanted to do. As a business community member, I am acutely aware that in general, the business community was not in favor of Measure G from an organizational perspective. And I feel that part of my task here is to be a bridge to the business community, to explain and to provide, to show light on what we're doing here to ensure that Measure G is implemented in an effective way and not just executed. So I am proud to bring that perspective to this board. And I really feel this is a second chance to make a first impression to a lot of residents in the county who may know they live in LA County, but they don't necessarily understand what LA County government does, including myself for a long period. And I think this is the most exciting thing that one of the largest county governments in the nation has done in a very long time. I'd say it's no small feat that we're creating an elected chief executive to administer many of the responsibilities of this county. I don't know that that exists in many other county governments in our country. So this is new ground that we're looking on. And I also look forward to meeting the task of this effort being revenue neutral to the county. I understand that is a big provision that a lot of people saw as important to including in the goals of this task force. And I look forward to meeting that goal as well. So I'm very excited to be sitting here with my colleagues and the colleagues from the labor community and the county officials that are here. It's certainly interesting to be on this side of the table after so many years coming in and meeting with my county supervisors and staff and talking to them about film issues when I used to work with the entertainment industry. So this is definitely a new perspective for me. And I want to have fun while I'm here too, right? So we're going to be here for a few years. It kind of feels like the first day of class a little bit, with really fancy sound set up. And so I'm looking forward to this very much, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you. So thank you.
I don't know that this is on. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julia Mockridge. I am an at-large member. And again, thank you all for bringing our names forward. The interview process with you all was definitely interesting, but it was joyful too to see you who are all excited about the work ahead on the other side of our screen as we were going through this process. I am a physical therapist by trade. I work for the Department of Health Services, and for many years I worked in our county hospital, Rancho Los Amigos Rehabilitation Center. I spent time working for Supervisor Hahn on her health team as her health deputy, and then returned back to the Department of Health Services where I serve in administration. So I consider myself county born, raised, and proud. I was born in the 3rd district, raised in the 5th district in the Antelope Valley, so I do know where that county line starts at Avenue A. I live proudly in the 1st district,
I worked for the 4th, and in 2021, I became a living kidney donor. And so my kidney is thriving in the 2nd district. Yes, and I'm really excited to be here because I do consider myself a neighbor first and foremost. I'm very involved in my community of unincorporated East LA. So Rosa and I are, proud to represent the unincorporated area. And thank you, John, for bringing up the concerns about that. We're excited to represent that and to be the voice for those areas because it is important. But I am a neighbor, and one of the things that I want to take away from this experience is just being able to connect with our communities and with the people that are around us. I had said to the panel, I want to be able to walk across the street to my neighbor and say, this matters, and this is why it matters, and this is why you should be following it. And tell me your thoughts. What do you care about? What matters to you? And that's really important to me. I believe in local. I'm at our local parks. I'm at our local libraries. I'm in our local businesses, running our local streets. It's very much, I love county, and I'm so proud to be part of this, this panel, this task force, and looking forward to the work ahead. So thank you all.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Maria Gabriela Gironas. You'll all know me soon best by Gabs, I would say. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm so happy to be here amongst my colleagues and I'm elected by this wonderful, I'm going to affectionately call you the OG6. But I think on the personal side, there are many boxes on paper I fulfill. There's Latinx. I am a business owner in the community with my own consulting business for artists and executives in the music industry. I work, my day job is a senior director of creator strategy over at Wasserman. So my job is working with brands to tell them how to work with talent effectively, everything from celebrities, influencers to musicians. I'm a homeowner. I live in West Adams community. I'm very, very proud of it. I am a queer individual, non-binary individual. And I think just as I'm coming into this space, we are coming in a lot off the heat of the erasure of queer, trans, and non-binary communities across the United States. So I think just playing a small part in that, being part of this community is really significant. But beyond that as well, I just encourage anyone that's interested in being part of what we're working on here. Like, this is an open door for us. We are here for you all and for this community to rebuild what is being lost right now in so many ways. And I think finally, I just want to give a shout out to my dad and my wonderful partner in the audience who immigrated to this country many years ago now and wouldn't be here 30 years later. So I appreciate you all.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephen Neal. I am the executive director. I am the director of outreach and civic engagement at the LA County Federation of Labor. And in that role, we build partnerships with nonprofits, community groups, clergy, to talk about our shared interests as we move. As a labor rep, I spent most of my adult life as a labor advocate. I've also run my own business as a consulting firm. I pastor a church that I've been senior pastor of for the last 11 years. I've run a nonprofit. I've worked in healthcare, but the bulk of my career has been organized labor. And from that perspective, we want to make sure that the voice of working people is definitely included in this conversation. We want the same thing that businesses want. We want them to be prosperous. We want our municipal governments to serve prosperously, with the caveat at not at the expense of the workers. I've had the ability to serve on a legislative body or in a legislative capacity for the last 2 decades as a council member in Long Beach, serving on a board or a commission since consecutively since 2005. I'm the secretary of the Long Beach Harbor Commission that I was appointed to in 2019. And I have the pleasure of working with these two gentlemen who are part of the constituency of the Labor Federation. We represent over 300 unions, 800,000 workers across this country or this county, and touching just about every industry that we can think of. So, and I share how John, I share John's concern in regards to the new elected CEO. I've had some concern about that from the beginning. I voted no against this proposition, but I'm honored to be here with this very broad constituency of folks so that we can work collaboratively to make sure that the voice of the County of Los Angeles and the voters is fulfilled.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me? My name is David Green. I'm Executive Director and President of SEIU Local 721. So I have the honor of representing 100,000 public sector employees, including 55,000 LA County employees. I'm also an LA County, proud to be an LA County employee. June 2nd is my 25-year anniversary with the county. Started when I was 10 years old. I see you doing the math. For the Department of Children and Family Services, I still am proud to be an LA County employee. I'm an adjunct professor at Cal State LA in the School of Social Work for 11 years. And my wife and I have a 19-year-old son and a 13-year-old daughter who just started 8th grade, so I'm not scared of anything, having two teenagers. And excited to be part of this task force and bring the voice of working people to what we're doing here. So thanks.
Yeah, my name is Derek Schur. I'm the Executive Director for the Association of Los Angeles County Deputy Sheriffs, which is kind of my day job. I represent the 8,000 deputies that work in the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, obviously in a labor capacity. I'm here because I am also the chairperson of the Coalition of County Unions, which represents 35,000 employees in the county, includes firefighters, lifeguards, doctors, dentists, surveyors, building inspectors, a whole bunch of public-facing employees. The Coalition of County Unions, ALADS, and many other unions actually opposed Measure G, which is probably the reason I'm here, is to now be part of the team to get the most out of it. Our primary reason for opposition of Measure G was the elected CEO, and frankly, the statement that it would be done with cost neutrality. I don't believe revenue neutrality, but cost neutrality to the county, which in our mind was going to be a difficult feat, frankly, if it was going to be done correctly. To increase the number of supervisors and have an elected CEO means there should be increased outreach to the communities that you all described, to include listening and people to effectuate the policies of the executive. And we don't think that that's something that's going to be done, frankly, for free, nor should it be done for free. And so as public employees, we were concerned about that statement because for it to be revenue neutral in the county, that means there'd be job cutting out of our positions. And so that was, it's important to put that issue up and in front. The other thing I'm going to be is brief. I loved hearing everybody's story here today. And I know that we'll hear stories from the public about their engagement with the county and other aspects of government. And I think my job here is to listen and work with everybody here. And I'm so excited to do that. Your stories were engaging and provoked thought for me and gave me touch points in each of your lives where I have common experience with you. And so with that, I'll close. Thank you.
Derek. We have two Dereks and two Davids, so I'll try to keep it all straight. But thank you all. I thank you all for the very kind words, and thank you all for being here. I know how hard we've all worked to get here and how quickly we worked to get here. So on a personal note, I want to say thank you, all of you, for stepping forward and taking on this very critical effort at this historic moment. I know this work was not going to be easy, and it's not going to happen overnight. But I believe we have the right group of people sitting here at this table to make it happen. Each of you bring valuable insight and life experiences, and that diversity of thought is exactly what this moment calls for right now. So thank you. I'm going to move on to item number 6, which is a brief overview of Measure G. I just want to inform the public and kind of start a discussion if you choose to do so, and then take public comment on what is Measure G and what is the task force going to do, the big mystery. So we're going to move on to a brief PowerPoint presentation. All right. So here we go. What is Measure G? So on July 9th, 2024, the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors directed County Council to prepare documents for a proposed charter amendment, which was then placed on the November 5th, 2024 ballot and approved by voters. The amendment includes several key provisions aimed at enhancing governance in the county, with a significant milestone set for 2026, which is right around the corner, 2028, and beyond. I want to talk a little bit about some of the key provisions. By 2026, all non-urgency county legislation is to be publicly posted for at least 120 hours before the board takes action. Currently, it is 72 hours. An independent ethics commission will be established, and an office of ethics compliance will be created to support the ethics commission's work. By 2028, the creation of an elected county executive with executive and administrative powers will be created. A county legislative analyst will be established to provide nonpartisan support on county policy issues. A director of budget and management will be created to prepare and administer the budget and promote efficiency. Looking at 2030 and beyond, by 2031, the Board of Supervisors will expand from 5 to 9, with staggered elections beginning in 2032. By 2034, a charter review commission will be established to meet every 10 years to review Los Angeles governance and county charter and make recommendations to the board. So we know who, but what is the Governance Reform Task Force? The Governance Reform Task Force was established as part of the reform set forth in Measure G, and as you all now know, consists of 13 very wonderful, enthusiastic members. The task force will advise on the implementation of Measure G reforms and help guide the transition, and today marks the official start of the task force as established by ordinance. Its term is set to end on December 3rd, 2028, so we will be together for a little while unless that is extended by the board. So, someone just say,
You're listening, Derek.
I know. I just want to bring humor, so here we go. All right, I just want to touch a little bit on some of the key responsibilities of the task force. They're part of the task force to ensure that they carry out the goals of Measure G with input from diverse community stakeholders. This is going to be very important as one of their responsibilities. That provide recommendations for enhanced public budget oversight, advise on the creation of the County Ethics Commission, oversee the establishment of the elected county executive, which I believe some of them already discussed, and guide the transition from 5 to 9 Board of Supervisors members. So that's a very quick overview. The ordinance itself is actually available on our Measure G website. It's about 36 pages long if anybody wants to take a look at it and get more details about what's to come ahead. And now my PowerPoint's and there we go. For the latest updates and meetings, visit us at measureG.lacounty.gov. Thank you for joining us here today. All right, I am now going to open it up to the task force members if they have any comments, any questions in regards to item number 6, and if not, I will move forward with public comment.
Just this presentation is available by way of the agenda. Will it also live on the website?
Yes, we can leave them, yeah. I would love to share my work. Yeah, no. All right, anybody else have any questions? Yes, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering while we're here, if we want to discuss the meeting schedule for this body, as this is the only time that we will be together thus far. We have no other meetings currently planned. And I'm curious to hear folks' thoughts about how often, if you want to continue to meet on Fridays at 3, I'm not so sure.
So I think our goal for that, Sarah, was since the last 5 were just appointed this week and we didn't get an opportunity to share their availability. The idea for us is in this next week to reach out and try to coordinate what everyone's availability is. And then, like I always say, Jason's going to do his magic and try to get a chart together and see how we can ensure that we always have a quorum moving forward and determine the frequency. So I think just as way of efficiency, I think that's the easiest way for us to do that. Yeah.
So kind of, yeah, I think like a set date, like a, fourth Thursday of the month kind of idea is good because it gives some predictability. But on a separate note, sort of on the administrative side, the structure of like our group, right? Are we going to elect the chair and a vice chair? Does that rotate? I think in some soon agenda, we should have that conversation.
Yes, definitely the chair, the vice chair, and then we will be also working on our bylaws. So as we move forward, we may need to create an ad hoc committee to be able to work on our bylaws and determine sort of how we're going to proceed. Definitely.
I had a quick question, I'm sorry. In regards to follow-up questions there, so are we planning to meet more than once a month, twice a month, or I think with the task in front of us, is once a month going to be enough for us to meet?
100%. And there will be opportunities, like I said, to create ad hoc committees in order to be able to do other work. So once we're able to get everybody's schedule together, because you do know, as you've heard, everyone seems to be very busy. I don't know how everyone even made it here today, but thank you so much for doing that. We'll make sure that we can coordinate that and, and figure out what works best.
If I may, just to respond, I agree with you, Steve. I think setting an intention at least of meeting at least twice a month, I think would make sense, if not even slightly more in the early stages, just to get ourselves organized and to figure out what those ad hoc committees are and to make a plan for this work so that we can be moving it forward and expediting it.
Definitely. And we can, Nora, we can move to put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
For the next meeting, sure.
Nora is our parliamentarian, so I dragged him here so he can answer those questions for us. Yes. So yes, we will make sure we have that on the agenda for the next meeting.
So thinking about the outcomes on the last slide that was presented.
Yes.
The shaping up, I know it's about getting ourselves in order and like coming up with the bylaws and all. That's probably the first bucket of work. But there's also the breakdown of all the different outcomes we have. So is that the steps to getting to those outcomes themselves something that we will be framing up? Is there also like some malleability of other parts that touch on those outcomes of governance that we might be reforming as well? Or are we like just centrally focused on these particular items? Like how do we know what is in our bailiwick of like what we determine reform actually is? Like, is it already predefined or is it something that we're defining in this way?
Well, I think there are some components that are predefined as the ordinance has set out. And I think as you go along the way, and I can only guess at this point, that you'll probably discover other things along the way.
Okay.
And the stakeholder engagement obviously is going to be very important because I think that's going to bring a lot of voices to the table and give you a lot of ideas as to sort of how to shape the recommendations moving forward.
For sure.
So we've got a lot of work to do before we get to the work.
Never.
Yeah. There's always work to do, right? I just gonna set up 10 meetings, like one after another for 3 hours long.
We've done it before.
We've done it before. We've done it before. Is there anything else? Yes, Julia.
Question, is the intention to always have the meetings here? I know some of the piece of this work is community outreach. Is there?
That's definitely not set, absolutely.
Okay.
And I would think that in order to reach the most communities, we will have to reach out and set meetings in different areas of Los Angeles County, certainly.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, of course. Anyone else? Anyone else? No? Shall I move on? Give my little spiel about. All right, we will now move on to public comment in person. In person first, and then we will move online. Sorry, I gotta change my posture. I don't have a Bible, sorry. All right. Okay, this item is now open for public comment. I will begin with in-person speakers. If I call your name, I think we have different colors. Hold on 1 second. This is item number 6. So if I call your name on item number 6, please step close up. You will be standing here where it says public comment. It looks like I have 2 in person. You will have 2 minutes to speak. There will be a timer on the screen. So please use your time wisely so we can give everyone an opportunity to speak, because there will be people online who will have an opportunity to speak as well. So I want us to start with David Gavarokian. Yes, David. And then after David would be Lionel Mares. If I spelled your name wrong or announced your name wrong, I apologize in advance. David, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You have 2 minutes. If we can start the timer, and your time starts now.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you very much for the opportunity to address this body. My name is David Gavorkian. I'm a proud resident of LA County, and I also serve as the chairperson of the Consumer Affairs Advisory Commission for the county's Department of Consumer and Business Affairs. I've had the honor of working with several members here, including our CEO, Eddie, with the County Assessor's Office, and then formerly with had the honor of serving the business community at the LA County Economic Development Corporation. It's as a resident of the county, it's very, very endearing and exciting to see the level of expertise and experience that the members of this body have. And I believe that our residents and consumers and business people of our county are in excellent hands. So thank you very much for your commitment to this very long and tedious process. As a chairman of the commission, the reason why I'm here today is to request for this body to continue taking consumer protection into consideration with everything that you guys might be deliberating upon, deciding, or providing recommendations or advising. The Consumer Affairs Advisory Commission is also an advisory body, and we work all around the county, everything from consumer protection to immigration affairs to workforce and wages issues. And so the Department of Consumer and Business Affairs, being a small department, has a lot going on and a lot of ground to cover. And so as we think about expanding the representation of the county and talking about legislation and possibly budgeting and then the processes that we budget, also please keep into consideration that there are small departments wearing very big shoes and doing a lot of great things where they could possibly benefit and be able to increase the amount of service that they provide to the consumers and the businesses of the County of Los Angeles. Having said that, at some point, I would
your time is up.
I would look forward to meeting with the members of the commission. Thank you very much for your service, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Lionel?
He's going to wait until general public comment.
Okay, sure, no problem. I will add him to the green sheet. All right, for those of you who are joining us online or calling in, you may use the raise your hand feature on your computer or press *9 on your phone. We will call on you by the name in the order received or by the last 4 digits of your phone number as it appears on the screen. Staff will unmute you and you may need to press *6 on your phone to be able to speak and follow the instructions you hear. Ruben, take it away.
Stolen Children by CPS. You have 2 minutes. Please press *6. go to the next. CPS. Rajay, you have 2 minutes.
Are you able to hear him online?
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, great. Hi, how you guys doing? My
Hello?
name is, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Hi, how you guys doing? Thank you for doing what you guys are doing. Um, my name is Rainisha Hubbard. I am a founder and CEO of Coalition of Parents Nationwide. I am here not to just for myself, but for thousands of families across LA County. This nation who have harmed, silenced, and destroyed by the system that was supposed to protect them. Since 2016, I have been fighting to get my children. My children were removed without evidence, without finding, without unfitness, and without due process. One of my daughters was raped and impregnated in foster care by a 22-year-old man, and she was 15. Nobody did anything. Her children's law attorney never did anything. Los Angeles dependency attorneys never did anything. They tried to cover it up. My son have suffered years of trauma, delays, abuse while in the custody of the government. My family has been torn through hell of the hands of DCFS appointed attorneys, dependency judges, and the very founded programs funded to serve us. This is not child protection. This is a business, a Title E funding machine that profits from breaking families apart, violated civil rights laws, that they break welfare institutional code 300, 317, 317.5, and 827. They violate all our rights. We have evidence of perjury, tamper reports, denial hearings, unethical attorneys, conduct, and coerced case plans. These aren't isolated mistakes. These are patterns, coordinated, funded, protected. Thank you. And I have more to say. We are demanding the call for arrest every judge, social worker, court-appointed
Much, we really
attorneys.
appreciate it. You're out of
Thank
your
you.
time. I just want to remind all the callers is that we want to make sure that we are relevant to the actual task force and the subject matter at hand and give everyone the opportunity, especially now with item number 6. We just did an overview on Measure G. So if you have any public comments in regards to Measure G or the task force specifically, if you could please just stay within the subject matter. Next caller, please.
Francisco, please unmute by *6. You have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name is Francisco Corona. I'm a resident of the 2nd District. I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time to joining on this committee. I personally don't think that the unions and government should have been involved in this committee. I think it is biased because they have more votes and more seats. I invite you to hold one of your meetings in Florence Firestone so you can see that we are one of the communities that has been forgotten. We are unincorporated. Please ride the train and see how bad the train system is, the homelessness in the train, the drug use. Like I said, please hold one of your meetings in our community so you can see the way that we live, all the homelessness we have around us, all the trash. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Mike, please unmute yourself by *6. You have 2 minutes.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting me speak. I'm a resident of unincorporated East Los Angeles. I'm happy that we have a task force like this getting put together because East Los Angeles has been neglected for too many years. I opposed Measure G just because in an interview with NBC, Holly Mitchell and Catherine Barger were interviewed, and they stated that the CEO's position has no term limits. That's why they voted against it. Other stuff was good in my opinion, but other than that, if somebody sneaked that language in there, that's very dangerous. I'm very concerned with that. I went through the voter booklet. I didn't find any language that said that. I went online. I didn't find any language that said that. So if that language was hidden from Measure G for from the constituents, that's not a good thing. It's unethical. So I encourage this task force to look into that. If it is, I strongly encourage everyone to veto or get rid of Measure G or go to voting without that language there, because that's pretty much dictatorship. We don't want somebody in the CEO's position that has higher power than anybody else in the land and does anything they want for the rest of their term limit until the day they die. So I oppose Measure G. Thank goodness I did. If that's true, I highly encourage everyone here to look into it. And with the previous gentleman that also mentioned, I don't agree with unions getting involved in anything, because they do. We know they pay out politicians, so that's very unfair, and that shouldn't be allowed at all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Next speaker.
D. Danelle Gibson, please unmute yourself. *6.
Okay, I believe I did. Can I be heard?
Of course, please.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. Good afternoon to everyone. My name is D. Danelle Gibson. I am a District 2 resident and member of the ADOS Advocacy Foundation's California chapter. And I'd like to congratulate you all for the long-awaited launch of the Governance Task Force, and also congratulations to all of the task force members as well. I also, or well, I'll say this, I do appreciate everyone's comments and introductions and things, so that we can obviously become acquainted with one another, and specifically those that may not have been may not have been public facing in some of their previous positions and or grassroots efforts. However, I absolutely appreciate the sentiment and expression of those whose intentions include your everyday taxpayers, your everyday family member, your everyday worker, and what it means to put our trust in governing bodies, entities, and of course elected officials, because there's always going to require a level of trust there, that those who are elected, chosen, and or appointed, we hope that those folks will operate in the best interest of the community, and in this case, the surrounding communities within the unincorporated and overall city and county of Los Angeles. And so I don't have a question, just wanted to make the statement that I absolutely look forward, myself and others in similar communities as mine, we look forward to seeing the fruition, the inception of some of these ideas, and then see them in action to actually make a change. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're out of time. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Next speaker, please.
Rob Kwan, please unmute yourself by clicking *6. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Rob Kwan, organizer with Unrig LA, and I live in Supervisorial District 1. For the last 7 years or so, I focused on ethics and good governance at the city of LA. And given how much of a horrible challenge that has been, I really do appreciate Supervisor Horvath and her leadership on this front. We will be lucky if the city of LA eventually delivers anything remotely as close to transformative. I do thank the task force members for their service. And for those who are a little hesitant on the elected executive, I actually love the thing. And that is because replacing a 5-headed monster with a 9-headed monster does not do anything to improve leadership. I had one really big concern about this measure as it was moving through, and that was the lack of any kind of clarity on what the power and independence of the Ethics Commission would be. And in my experience, you got to have that stuff baked into the charter. And It does sound like the board is acknowledging we may have to go back to the ballot to do that. I do want to just note, as far as diversity concerns, our biggest work to be determined is on that ethics front, and we only have 1 out of our 13 commissioners with real experience on ethics issues. I might be wrong on that, but either way, that is not a great number there. So I just hope you all approach that issue with some sober perspective. The politics of ethics reform can be very, very, very weird, and it tends to bring out the worst in people. And one request in that ordinance back in the fall was to have ex parte communication bans or limitations, so that we don't have back channeling, off the record communications. That's something the board needs to take up and put into law. So I hope you all think about that and talk to your friends over there while you still can, because we do need to bring some good guardrails into this process.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Next speaker, please.
Becca, please unmute yourself by clicking on *6. You have 2 minutes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. Hello, everyone. My name is Rebecca Zamora. I am speaking as a stakeholder, concerned resident, and as an individual. For transparency purposes only, I am a member of the Sylmar Neighborhood Council for the City of Los Angeles. I want to take this time to emphasize the importance of publicly posting board meetings and board actions in advance. This allows stakeholders time to review the information, share the information among other stakeholders, and discuss information before action is taken. I understand this topic is circulating, but moving forward, this is incredibly important for transparency. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Chris Marian, please unmute yourself by clicking on *6. You have 2 minutes.
Hey there, I am Chris Marion and I live in Monterey Park. I support the enlargement of the Board of Supervisors through Measure G, and I believe that the goals of improved representation will best be achieved by electing both the board members and the county executive with ranked choice voting instead of plurality voting. I appreciate the service of the task force members, and I encourage the task force to study the use of ranked choice voting as part of its work scope. Please ensure that this ongoing reform process allows for a full evaluation of the advantages of ranked choice voting in a single general election, including cost savings and more inclusive representation compared to the 2-election contingent runoff system used today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Sean McMorris.
Yes, this is Sean McMorris. I'm with the good government nonprofit California Common Cause. I just wanted to congratulate all of you on your appointments. And, it was nice to hear a little bit about your backgrounds. I know some of you, and others of you I did not know at all. And so it was very nice to hear your backgrounds. And I'm looking forward to working with you and discussing the various reforms, in particular work on the Ethics Commission and Department. There are other reforms that I myself will be learning about as we go along. I do live in the 1st District, but I just want to introduce myself and let you know I'll be participating throughout this process, and I look forward to giving you all feedback, getting feedback from the community, and I hope that ultimately your recommendations to the Board of Supervisors will be based on community feedback and well thought out best practices. So that's all I have to say. So congratulations, all of you. I'll be talking with all of you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker, please.
Christy Hernandez, please unmute yourself. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Christy Hernandez. I'm a 3rd-generation resident and homeowner and community advocate in unincorporated East Los Angeles. And I also want to congratulate all the task force members, those that were appointed, and members at large for being selected to to partake in such a historical task force. It's a massive undertaking to represent 10 million residents. So thank you for your commitment and dedication to this work. I also appreciate that this body has allowed for us to participate virtually, given commutes, especially on a Friday afternoon. And do look forward to having you host meetings in the community throughout LA County to ensure community engagement, which I think is one of the factors when we talk about governance, given that each supervisor represents 2 million people. So I would also say, please consider the time of your meetings so that it also accommodates individuals given their work schedules. So I don't know if maybe there's an opportunity to change their work weekdays, weekends, mornings, on a weekend for those purposes of participation. I really do appreciate the intent of the task force as far as transparency and accountability is concerned, because that is something we absolutely need, especially for unincorporated communities, which is why I'm so glad that there is representation from folks who live in unincorporated communities, and that is long overdue. I look forward to LA County exploring the municipal advisory committees for unincorporated communities and that they be elected entities, and also exploring annual budgets for the unincorporated communities, so that there's also, when we talk about transparency and accountability, numbers to understand the health of those communities and how we can work together to improve resources. So we look forward to working with you and participating in the conversations ahead. Thank you so much and have a good evening.
Thank you so much. Next speaker, please.
Constantine Anthony, please unmute yourself. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Constantine Anthony. I am a elected council member in the city of Burbank. My concern is very simple. I would love for this body to put together either a small statement or a simple paper outlining the future rules for contract negotiations with the unions. I know currently it's a discussion between the current CEO and their appointed staff and in coalition with the Board of Supervisors. I know there's a ton of unions that have contracts up. Some are even going on strike recently that would just like some clarifying language. I would just encourage this body to put together a formal statement. Doesn't have to be long on if that changes under Measure G. If that changes under Measure G, if there's any changes and what you see could potentially be any conflicts. And that's it. That's a simple request. Thank you for putting this together, and I look forward to seeing more from this body in the future. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. I think we have 4 more online callers. Next caller, please.
Genesis C, please unmute yourself. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Genesis Coronado. I am a resident of unincorporated East Los Angeles and also one of the members of the over 1 million LA County residents that reside in unincorporated LA County. I am happy to see that we have representation from unincorporated communities on this task force. So happy to ensure that voice is at the table. I urge the task force to consider unincorporated communities in a unique way as you engage our communities and do everything possible to ensure that voices of unincorporated communities are uplifted in this process. When you think about board expansion and the purpose of Measure G, which is and was to ensure better representation for LA County residents, it is our unincorporated communities that are the most underrepresented in comparison to our municipal residential neighbors. So I urge you to ensure that the structure and foundation being recommended by this task force truly ensures an equitable voice for those of us that need it the most. So I hope to see focused engagement in my community of East LA and the other unincorporated communities across LA County. Lastly, when it comes to engaging our diverse communities across the county, I also hope to see language interpretation as a norm for these meetings. I saw on the agenda that folks have to request interpretation in advance, and I do believe that could be a barrier to engagement. So I really hope that this task force considers that moving forward. as you take into consideration true engagement of those local folks whose voices deserve to be heard. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Next speaker, please.
Maria, you have 2 minutes. Unmute yourself, please.
Oh, good afternoon. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Maria Skelton, and I just wanted to say thank you for having this platform to allow people to speak and give their honest opinions, whether if it is for and or against Measure G. Thank you again to the task force. Welcome. You got some big things ahead of you, and I'm proud of you. And once again, just thank you for having this platform to allow people to speak. Maria Skelton, enjoy your day.
Thank you so much. Next speaker, please.
Mark Feinstein, please unmute yourself. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, I'm Mike Feinstein, former Santa Monica mayor and city council member. I'm calling you from Vietnam, where I'm traveling. Measure G increased the size of the board from 5 to 9 to promote more diverse representation. I think you need to conduct a compare and contrast with how ranked choice voting general elections would promote a more diverse candidate field, lead to a more representative board, allow voters to better express their preferences over a more diverse candidate field, by sending a more representative, clear public policy to the ultimate winner, and by eliminating LA County's current contingent runoff system, ensure that the choice of the winner is put before a more representatively diverse set of general election voters. Also, Measure G created the position of county executive, maybe many of the same benefits that would apply to electing the Board of Supervisors in a ranked choice voting general election would apply to electing the county executive in the same way. So please, look at setting up a study session and consult with ranked choice voting experts to provide you the background information and speakers for such an option. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us from the other side of the world. Next speaker, please.
Fatima Malik, please unmute yourself. You have 2 minutes.
Hello, I'm Fatima Malik, and I am Vice President of the League of Women Voters of Los Angeles County. I personally live in District 5, but we have members in all 5 districts. We're a nonpartisan organization committed to informed public participation, transparent and equitable government. I commend the task force, and we're excited to see you get to work. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to reshape county governance to be more responsive, representative, and accountable. I want to urge you to, as you begin your work, to first center transparency at every step. Agendas, meeting materials, and deliberations must easily be accessible, clearly written, and translated into multiple languages to ensure that all residents can follow and participate meaningfully. Second, proactively engage communities most affected by past underrepresentation, particularly those in unincorporated areas, working class neighborhoods, and communities of color. Equity must be designed into the outreach and the outcomes. Third, as you consider structural changes, including the county executive role and the Ethics Commission, ground your recommendations and best practices for independent oversight and accountability. These reforms must not just exist, but they must also function with integrity and trust. And finally, I encourage the task force to hold a space for public education. Many residents are unaware of what Measure G will change. Partnering with nonpartisan civic groups like ours can help bridge that gap and bring more voices to the table. Thank you for your service, and we look forward to supporting your work toward a stronger, more inclusive Los Angeles County.
Thank you so much. Next speaker, please.
Delora Ellis Gant, please unmute yourself. You have 2 minutes.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Great. Good afternoon and congratulations on your appointment. My name is Delora Ellis Gant. I am the president of the Los Angeles County African American Employees Association. LACA's primary objectives and function is that we assist our members with preparing for their careers because most of them are county employees. But we wanted to come here today to just let you know that we are in support of your task force. And if you are in need of any community voices, employee voices, please do not hesitate to reach out to us because we are a trusted community nonprofit, and we just know that we can get these things done by all working together. So we're here to lend our support and ask that you please do not leave out the County Employees Association as a vital resource to the job that you are about to perform. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I believe we have our last online speaker.
Stolen Children by CPS. Please unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear us? Did you have a comment? Okay, thank you. I understand there's no more online callers. Certainly, no? Okay, thank you. I will now move on to do general public comment. I know that there are several individuals that have signed up here in person, and I want to make sure that we get to you.
Just before we move on,
Yes.
just a couple thoughts from what was shared. In the process of making this even more of an inclusive process, and I know that there was some rush pieces because we were trying to meet the deadline. But I think it is definitely critical to make sure that as best we can to get information out to the public so that it can be vetted and actually reviewed. One of the things in the Careful Community Investment space, multiple language is readily available. It is just something that we just do. Folks don't have to ask for it. When they come, there's a process for them to actually engage in it. I think that is something that we have to make sure is just available for folks. I also, any idea of like how we want to engage with each other. The importance of doing the land acknowledgement is super critical. I think it's important to also utilize the labor acknowledgement as well. And I can definitely share that with the body, to be vetted and to see if there's something that we want to be able to put forth to honor and lift up how we even got to this point. Not only just with our indigenous folks, but like how this country and how this county was actually established and built on the backs of so many different communities of people that we are actually reforming the government around. And also lastly, I think it's something that we can bring up in the next meeting, community agreements of how we want to share space with each other. Because there are going to be some hard conversations, but I think the ways that we can engage in community agreements set up beforehand will establish how we want to engage with each other moving forward, setting the intention. In fact, in the CFCI space, we actually read through the community agreements at the beginning of the meeting to remind ourselves of like who we're representing, why we're here, what we're committed to doing with each other before we engage in conversation. And it also helps to create influence of community in the space, right? I think the way we practice it here will also show in some of the decision making of what we're trying to engage in for the future of what LA County looks like for a community that we're representing in various forms. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you, Jerry. And we can certainly, I just confirmed with County Council, we can place that on the agenda in our next meeting for it to be an open discussion for people to come forward, and we can make sure that everyone is aware that that is what you'd like to speak about.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have one
Yes.
one additional item, Shadi, and
Yes.
for a future discussion.
Yes.
In part of the comments, I heard there seems to be either not enough information about surrounding the elected CEO, the no term limits, right? And so that isn't something that was not put into the measure because it's a state law. So I think we would benefit not just ourselves, but the community by putting together sort of a frequently asked questions, if you will, on those types of items.
Definitely, and we can also place that on future
Sure.
agenda for discussion as well, so that
Sure.
the public has an opportunity to come forward and discuss their concerns as well.
Absolutely. That's a good call.
Shadi, I know
yes.
we're over time, so just echoing,
No,
some
no
of what's
problem
been
at all.
shared is important. Also the time of day of
Yes, of
meetings
course.
and going into neighborhoods, particularly those that have been historically underrepresented. So
Absolutely,
taking all of that into account as we set our schedule forward.
absolutely, absolutely. Anyone else? Just want to move on to general comment. I am going to move on to item number 8, general public comment. I do have some cards up here. Lionel, if you wanted to come forward. I know you submitted both 2 cards. I think you're just going to do general comment. Yeah, okay, great. Thank you. And just a reminder, you will have 2 minutes to address the task force. And your time starts now.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Lionel Morris, a resident of the East San Fernando Valley. I am a budget advocate with the Neighborhood Council Budget Advocates and the Community Advocate, speaking as an individual. I would like to thank you for having this public meeting. I echo the comments made by several of the callers, especially Mr. Rob Kwan. I voted for Measure G because I want to see government reform. I strongly urge for an independent ethics commission, free from undue influence, from special interests, and by lobbyists. I believe that the role of government is to serve the people. I hope that the task force will engage with the community and to continue to hold public meetings and hearings. What I want is a government that will respond to the needs of the people, but especially the working class people who depend on you for representation. What we need is a government that is honest, transparent, and accountable for their actions and inactions, and to provide crucial, essential services for all the people of LA County. And I look forward to working with you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Natasha Gascon.
Hello, everyone. My name is Natasha Gascon. I want to say hello to the newly developed and much needed transparency of the government reform task unit. Especially not only for county, but for City of Los Angeles. I am a resident of Area 2, former business owner, lobbyist, future business owner, mental health specialist, and so on and so forth. Anyhow, the issue I want to bring up with is I've been fighting for within the homeless housing development areas for many years. I've helped multiple organizations, and now I'm moving forward with my own venture because I don't think a lot of organizations that are working with you guys and that are getting funded are worth it anymore, and they're not getting to the point. Basically, there's a lot of issues with how much money you give someone and what they do with it, and how much production is going to come out of this. And I'm having a lot of issues because I need to work with different areas of the government myself. I need to call and deal with everyone from a clerk to the board of supervisors, or even don't like to deal with the mayor. Sometimes I'll go deal with the governor. So but there's a personnel issue, and I've met people that work for LASA. This system of housing and homelessness is so intricate, and I've been part of that system. I fled my home due to domestic violence. I am of part Middle Eastern descent. So I fled my home due to domestic violence. Very serious issue with family members. And this is a very intricate system, and I've been trained in this system. And I've been part of the system. And knowing that some people, I don't know who's letting them in through personnel. This is a personnel issue. But people that work for LASA, which has to be very culturally sensitive, which has to understand what they're doing, which has to be able to meet a minimum requirement of paperwork. And I've met people that say they work for LASA with 3rd grade education.
Natasha, we appreciate your time. We have to give an opportunity for everybody else to
Yes,
speak.
I
Your
understand.
minute is up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
David Cormack? David? Cormang. Going once. No? Okay. Rob Wright.
Good afternoon, members. Rod Wright, I'm a recovering politician, but but that's been a little over 50 years that I've been involved. I was also opposed to G. I had several concerns. One of the things I don't like is an elected county official who has no term limit. That's an invitation to corruption. Ray Charles could see that. The challenge that I think, again, is that this is getting the cart before the horse. What should have happened is there should have been a commission set up to devise what should be what we do. And then that's what should have been put before the voters. I think that the way we're doing it today is ass backwards. So we're going to have people vote on stuff that they really didn't know what was there. And then after they voted on it, then you're going to give them something back. And what they get back will be different from what they voted for in the first place. That's ass backwards, and we shouldn't have done it that way. So I would hope that this group would consider at some point possibly drafting things that the public can look at again, expanding the number of people who get to see it, just as you're doing in this environment, and then going back and putting a revised plan before the voters that has been thought out. This program that you're voting on has not been thought out. It's not a good idea, and it's guaranteed to fail.
Thank you, Rob. Dr. Quintus Jett.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Dr. Quintus Jett. I'm here to really just to implore that as the committee looks at county government, its structure and its function, that we also look at process. That is like the processes like within departments, between departments, and also too with the community engagement attached to that. And I understand that this is actually an innovation if you do it. I bring that from two perspectives. One is personal. My mother came from Jim Crow, Alabama in 1960 to LA County, made a life here, had a career working for LA County juvenile health schools. And so, I mean, she definitely saw, as a vice principal, yes, there's policy, but how do you educate the youth who are incarcerated, like the nuts and bolts of that? And then second, as someone who was growing up, Kenneth Hahn was legendary, the county supervisor. And why he was legendary was because of his ability to come in and fix things on the ground. So it's almost like that public safety kind of public service delivery kind of thing. Professionally, I'd say two things. I used to be a professor of Rutgers University of Public Administration. So I understand that operations is not really taught in public administration. So that's what makes this an innovation. And then second, I have a multicultural, well, multicultural too. I have a multidisciplinary background. I am, my PhD is from Stanford University in Management Science. And one thing that we're very much aware of is that if you go to, let's say, a high-tech company, you will not find a high-tech company that's large, that's functionally organized. But that describes like every government in the world. So basically, this is an innovation. But again, I just want to encourage us all like to focus on the process and the public service delivery. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Tiffany Boyd.
Hello, hiya. Tiffany Boyd, constituent out of the 4th District, born and raised in the Carmelitos Housing Projects, now serving as a commissioner on the Commission for Children and Families, where we have 15 members, 14 of them are executive directors. Guess who's not?
You.
Yeah, good guess. I'm here to encourage us to take the opportunity for these new seats to make sure that it's people who sit in the seats on the buses and on the trains. And it's people that are not career politicians and who have not held a previous seat before, because the energy that I'm able to bring into the room and to my commission has got us the Youth Commission, the Youth Bill of Rights. There's so many different things that have come out of that divergence in the room And although it was the big scary bear and everybody didn't know what was gonna happen when they put a foster youth on the Commission for Children and Families, it is 6 years later. And it has proven to be one of the best decisions that they have ever made. Aside from that, quick question, I know you can't answer me, but feel free to raise your hands. I am 37 years old, soon to be 38. Which one of you are my age or younger? How many constituents are my age or younger? I appreciate the representation. I think you all are phenomenal. This is one of the most diverse groups I have seen in a long time. You're missing something. Are millennials, are Gen Z, is it X or Z? Which one is over 18? Whichever ones need to be here right now. Our youth voices are very important. Our youth voices are missing in this. We need human representation. We need more humanity within bureaucracy. We need more people that are willing to say no. We need a couple people that are willing to say hell no, to be honest with you. And we need to push back at every front. Now, personally, I'm gonna tell you, I've sat on that commission for 6 years. I've done more with the power that I had that put me on the commission than I did on the actual commission. I have a funny feeling you guys are gonna realize the same thing. What you're meant here to do in this position and what you're actually able to do might look like two different things. I encourage you to push at every turn, put as much in there, throw everything, not plus the kitchen sink on some random type stuff, but be as innovative as possible and take as many of us little people with you. And don't forget the youth, my bad.
Thank you so much. I don't believe there's any more in-person comments. Is there any online? There's two. Okay. I know that one of our task force members has to leave, and I want to make sure that she is in our group photo. So I'm going to take a brief moment and ask our photographer to take a photo so that Rosa is not left out, because we are all about being inclusive.
Are we done?
Yes.
Is everybody up on the dais, please?
Everybody up here.
You can stay there. You can stay there. We're gonna bring you behind you.
Okay, yeah.
We water bottle. Phone. Please over this way a little bit.
I was gonna grab it, and then you were like already done.
You're no G. Where's the elders?
That You just reach in over this way a little bit. Actually, have you come on this side of it. Sit down a little more. Hey, you're okay, Sandy. You're okay. Come on in there. Come in. Right there.
That's good. How we doing here? Holding around?
Yeah, that's good. Can you throw those water bottles?
Football. Are you scooting over? I don't quite have enough left for that. I like the wingspan.
Somebody gotta leave, man. You two, just a little bit. Sorry, come back.
No, seems that I am the
All right, I'm short. You get to look at
strengthen. Oh, too careful.
Make sure nobody blinked. All right, thank you.
Hold on. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
How rude. Right here.
Okay, let's get two more online callers for comment. We can just, thank you, Rosa. Just for the record, Rosa Soto had to leave, but we are still at quorum. So we will proceed with general public comment online. I understand we have two callers. Thank you. First caller, please.
Rob Kwan, please unmute yourself. You have 2 minutes.
Hey, Rob Kwan with Unregulated again, and I did want to just follow up on some of the comments on notice requirements, and I do want to remind y'all that the Brown Act the board ordinance, they set the floor and we should be going further. And I do think there's a particular need for extra time for community outreach for meetings that are held in the field outside of your regular meeting location in downtown LA. I do also want to just note, there is some disappointment that the application process did not happen publicly. And I understand, that was in compliance with the Brown Act, but it does kind of sit a little sour for those who applied and went through that whole process. I did not personally, but I do know that a lot of others were disappointed. Lastly, I do want to just touch on checks and balances and the misplaced concern about the executive. We're still going to have a strong board. They can disapprove appointments, override vetoes. I'm actually more concerned about something else that hasn't gotten much conversation at all, and that's the board chair. Now we have a diffusion of power between 5 supervisors who rotate into leadership on an annual basis. That system's not going to work with 9 members. It's not everybody's going to get their time in the spotlight. Measure G does not address how we will have our board chair selected. And I think that is something that should probably eventually be in the charter. But just looking at the city of Los Angeles and the extreme power of our council president, seeing so many people move through that chair, it really is like the Game of Thrones. That seat, that power, what you have to do to get into it, what you have to do to stay in it, it corrodes its occupant and incites abuses of power. So as we think about checks and balances, we shouldn't necessarily be obsessed with the executive, but how do we ensure a check on whoever is in that all-powerful seat on this board? 10 million people, one person running the board.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you're out of time. I believe we have one other caller that we have to take.
Rajay, please unmute yourself. You have 2 minutes.
Yes, hi. I just wanted to let you guys know the person from Stolen Children, he is deaf. So he, he had, somebody to interpret for him. So I just wanted to make you guys clear of that and make sure that he has a voice in this meeting because he does matter. And I just wanted to make everyone aware of that in case you didn't know. That's why I was raising my hand, but I just want to say, this task force was created to change how the county governs. But, let's be clear. The real governance means protecting the most vulnerable, our children. You were not created to shuffle powers between politicians. You were, created because families are suffering and the system is broken. Kids are being raped. Kids are being drugged, traumatized in these court systems in DCFS. And, the lawyers and stuff isn't involved. And you guys saying that you guys, don't have any, powers over that. But this is the real issue. This is what's going on, I'm here to say just stop wasting time, taxpayers' money on panels and power grabs, focus on the youth. That's your legal responsibility is not to protect agencies, it's to protect children. The system is killing our future kids. You were put here to stop it. Don't talk about reform unless it ends in accountability, arrest, and protection for the next generation. Shut down what's corrupt, prosecute guilty people, and focus on the children and save our children. That's the main focus here. Wake up. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. I understand there's nobody else online. All right, item number 9. I would like to thank everybody for joining us here today. As a reminder, please visit our website at measureg.lacounty.gov for the latest updates about this task force and our next meeting dates. And now the inaugural meeting of the Governance Reform Task Force is officially adjourned at 5:03 p.m. Thank you, everyone.